Nut.
No nuts.
Got it.
Come down from the nuts.
Where's your iPad at?
I'm kind of retarded.
Someone call Sports Center because Tennessee is the worst band. Football team ever.
Yeah, they are the worst band.
Welcome
They
back to
also-
the Joe Rogan Experience.
Tennessee sucks.
They're beating USC right now. Go Vols.
Shut up. I love Cox.
Hey, man, and the Braves won their division. They won their division.
I have
NL
to go with
East. NL East.
Woo! Wow! Anyway, this is the Blue Collar Boys podcast, and I am your host. What's my name again?
Tosh Jamas.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. My name is Piggly Wiggly. This is the Blue Collar Boys podcast show. This is Blue Collar TV. If you like to follow us on any of our social media, you are a part of the Blue Collar crew. That is a proud badge you can carry around and no one cares about.
You really get a badge?
You can. You can make your own.
Yeah, make
we
your
don't
own.
have ours, but like,
I should have got one of them badges at the knife store today.
if you tell them, "Hey, I'm part of the Blue Collar crew," they're like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Exactly," and then
Yeah.
walk off.
I should have got one of them sheriff's badges with my name on it. And then I could have said, I'm from the blue collar crew.
I'm sheriff. My name's Sheriff.
Where's Andy? Sheriff Woody.
So,
There's a snake in my boot.
shut your pie hole, boy. BlueCollarBoysOfficial.com is our official website.
Yeah.
Also, if you'd like to email us, shoot us that email over the interwebs over at bluecollarboysofficial@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our last, I'll go ahead and say this while I'm on it. Our last episode, I'm still trying to get it to upload to YouTube. I don't know. I got to try it again.
No.
Anyway, the beard struggle, Blue Collar 15. That's Blue Collar 15. Try that and see if it works. That is not a trick to get you to buy stuff. I just want to know if it still works, because if it don't work, we're not going to talk about that ever again. Disclaimer. We are idiots. This is a stupid little idiot show, and anything we say can and be held against you in a court of law. Smacks gavel.
Dun dun.
Do-do-dum-da-dum. So,
That actually sounds pretty good.
I think
Get out of here.
we all had our own little trips today.
Yep.
Ethan, where'd you go today?
I went to a Back the Blue ride.
Sweet.
I ride a motorcycle.
You do?
I'm sure if y'all
We've
been
never
around for a
talked
while.
about that.
I'm about to be doing the same thing soon.
Shut your mouth. You
Yeah.
drive a Suzuki.
Ben bought a Suzuki, so we're not going to give him credit for owning a motorcycle.
He's got training wheels on it. The thing's got training wheels.
Just in case I
But
need them.
I've heard Ben talk about a motorcycle at least 20 times today.
Hey, come on.
Come on.
I just want. I do
You gotta
want to say.
understand. It's like buying a boat. The first, the best
Bust out
2
another
days
1,000.
is the day you bought it and the day you sold it.
I would
Boat
be, I
stands
would be
for
excited
bust out
too.
another 1,000, boys.
I would be, dude. If I wasn't having a kid, if I didn't have a kid on the way in January, I would probably buy a motorcycle right now.
Dang.
Well, buy me one since you can't ride it.
Dang.
I'll ride it for you. I'll give it
It's
back
not
to
that
you.
I can't ride it.
Well-
It's that I don't need to buy it.
Well, I get it. But you could and you should for me. And then once I'm ready to have my own, I'll just give it back to you. And it'd be like, already broke in and everything for you.
No.
Sounds like a deal, dude. Sorry, Ethan, you were
No.
back the blue ride. You drive a motorcycle back the blue ride. Where were you at?
I was just proud. I was proud of our little town. We had 572 people show up for that.
That's pretty good. What state was that? Is that North Carolina?
That's right here in good old Gastonia, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to South
Heck
Carolina
yeah.
for some reason.
No.
I was thinking that you went to South Carolina today.
Nope. We met at the
Um,
old piece of crap rundown mall, and
That's
Got
good.
all them
they had
support.
some stuff set up, and then we did a 40-mile ride.
Sweet. We us three and plus two went to Tennessee today. We had our little trip to Tennessee, Pigeon Forge, or Sevierville technically, isn't it? And we went to this place, and we're going to call them out because if you're in the Tennessee area or if you plan on going there anytime soon, check out Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This place is the biggest knife store I think I've ever been in. We were there for 2 hours and maybe seen 50% of their store.
Yep.
It's
Ev-
freaking huge.
They advertise it as the largest knife store in the world. I mean, I don't know that to be true, but that's what they advertise it at.
Fact
Yeah.
check it.
And,
like Facebook, fact check it.
I would be surprised
check.
if you find one bigger than Smoky Mountain. I'd like to go there. 'Cause
Right.
This one was pretty huge.
everything.
Yeah, so if you find one bigger, email us
Everything.
at bluecollarboysofficial@gmail.com.
That's what's
Please
great
do.
about it. Is it's not just a knife work store. They have literally everything.
Yeah, I don't know if this is good or not. I told Josh we got downstairs. I think I told Josh or Colby or one of the guys that was there today, and I said, when did this turn from a knife store into Walmart?
Dang.
Because the bottom, I mean, you could buy all kind of like dishes and
Right.
just all kind of
Like,
stuff. I mean, they
we
had
went
all
downstairs
kind of stuff.
because there's like at least 3 levels to this place. You walk in on the middle section. It has a downstairs, a complete downstairs. And there was another upstairs somewhere that I seen people coming down from, and we never even got a chance to go up there. We were trying to check out everything we could. But the thing that got me was the custom fork and knife.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, the Damascus blade too. The Damascus kitchen knife. That was cool.
Dude,
yeah.
the Japanese style kitchen knives,
Yeah.
I freaking love those. I've never
Yeah.
talked about those enough. Like when because some of y'all who know me, my Instagram is Tactical Viking, and that was when I was making knives at our old house. Now at this new house, I don't have my shop set up, so I haven't been making any. And today, seeing all these knives made me really wish I was still able to do it right now. And that makes me want to make more because I'm like, I'm seeing how some of these people are selling these Damascus knives that are like, dude, they're beautiful. They are.
Oh, yeah.
But the first one I seen was $1,200.
Yep.
And I said, dude, I've been selling Damascus knives that I mean, I worked on it and made it, and I maybe sold it for like $150, and that's cheap
Yeah.
for a handmade
Yeah.
Damascus knife. I'm barely making anything off of it. I mean, my material cost, and then all the hours I put in it, it's not worth it for anybody else. But I just like doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just I love the handmade knives. That's me. That's my thing. Is like I like to see the work that was put in it because being someone who's made them before, most of the time you can look and tell if it's machine made or if this is actual handmade.
Yeah.
Handmade's always going to have some slight imperfections, and you'll see that. But that actually adds to the character, and I feel like that's just so much makes it mean so much more that someone put their sweat into this piece of art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the Smoky Mountain Knife Works, I mean, we're not getting paid for this. We don't get paid at all for any of this crap. But you know what? Check them out because I'm telling you that's an awesome
They have a
store.
great
Awesome
website.
store.
Great website as well. I mean, if you're out there looking for a quality knife and really anything, I mean, you can find all kinds of survival gear, tactical gear. I mean,
Guns.
yeah, guns. I mean, they had a fully stocked firearms section as well. It was
Right.
very impressive. They have a great website. If you ever get on their website,
Yeah,
it's
Abel.
very-
Abel comes in this knife store thinking he's getting a knife, and I'm like, which Abel's my son. He's like, he wants a knife. He's only 7, and I'm like, how about this knife? And it was like a plastic kid's toy, and he's like, no. And I'm like, dang it. And then he's like,
He's too
kinda
smart
like,
for that.
well, he was being kind of. I'll be honest, he was being just a little pouty. Like, I'm like, what's wrong? He wouldn't tell me because he knew that I'd get upset if he's basically pouting because he's not getting his way. Because I don't play that. Like, no, you're not going to pout to get your way. But I could tell something was bothering him. Like, all right, well, we got to find this kid something. He almost was agreeing to a folding shovel.
Nice.
And then I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't want a bunch of holes in my yard.
yeah, yep.
And then I seen a slingshot, and I'm like, hey, how about this? And he's like, okay. I'm like, all right. I'm like, do not shoot at any windows.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
told
what
him,
I'm
I was
waiting
like,
on.
we're going to be down here doing this podcast. Next thing you know, we're going to hear.
I told him, I said, look, you aim at a tree or Ben's car. That's the only 2 things you can aim at. I'll give you $1 for every dent you put in his car, and I'll give you $2 for every broken window in his car.
Go ahead.
Hey,
It's paid off.
Your insurance might cover his bumper to be painted.
Hey,
fine.
that ain't my kid. I don't know who did that. Some kid ran down here and just busted all that out. It wasn't me. It just happened on my property, man.
You know what kind of blew my mind? And I told
for it.
when we got home, I told my roommate I bought a knife today. I spent $200 on a knife, which that's a lot of money. You know, $200 is a lot of money, but
It is, but not
you
really.
know, when I told my roommate that I had spent $200 on a knife, I'm not trying to make $200 sound like it's nothing, but I told him, I was like, you know, you should have been there, man, because you walk around and you'll be surprised. I mean, a lot of these knives we saw, I mean, and not even like handmade custom stuff, just
Yeah.
straight up factory made knives. You're talking 400, 500, 7 to
Right.
and then you get into handmade custom stuff. And my buddy Colby, he went with us. He's the guru. He is an expert on this stuff, and he's a collector. And I mean, he's had knives that are $1,100, $1,200, $1,300, and I mean, he's pointing stuff out, and he's saying, yeah, this is good stuff. This is crazy expensive. And you're looking, I mean, $17, $18, $2,000 for a knife.
Yep.
And it's, you know, it's crazy, and you think, man, I can't believe I spent that much money on a knife today.
$2,000. I would take that right now for my Tahoe.
Right? And that's the craziest part about it.
I've had, you know, because of making knives, I've had two different occasions. One occasion was, okay, dude wanted a a gut hook on his top of his knife. Okay, he wanted it like a camping style knife, so a big blade, you know, kind of short blade with a gut hook on it, and he wanted all these little things. And I was like, okay, that right there is about, I can probably, now, if it was anybody else, okay, he was kind of related to me, I'll just throw that out there. If it was anybody else, like somebody I didn't know, I would probably charge like $160, $180, because a gut hook you have to file in yourself, okay? $180 is what I would charge someone else. I told him $140. I'm barely making anything off of that because all the time I have to put into it. And he's like, oh, man, I didn't know it was going to be that much. I'm like, well, what were you thinking?
Well, then go find one, man.
You can buy a $40 fish knife at Walmart.
Yeah. Rapala.
I mean,
Rapala.
Yeah, just do that if that's what you want. But, like, when it comes to handmade stuff, you got to pay a little bit more because someone's putting their own time and effort into it. You know what I mean? They got to buy the stuff. They got to put the time in.
It's like tattoos, man. Don't take the cheap ones.
Well, see, when it comes to knives, dude, I'll give y'all like a rundown. An average, and just for anybody like who listens who actually likes knives, and you know you like handmade stuff and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. On average, an easy knife for me, I might have 10 or 12 hours in it. And now that's not like in one day, but that's like through the week. I'm putting a couple hours in here, a couple hours in here. And that goes from like doing the shape of the knife, you know, drawing it, doing the shape of the knife, and then like getting it more profiled, heat treating it, tempering it, then doing some finish like work to it, handle work, all that, then even making the sheath. I was making the sheath and everything. All that's included. And they act like that was too much. Another case, and I'll let you say what you got to say, Ben. This guy was like, hey, I want this kind. He was being very adamant about what he wanted. I want this kind of steel. I want to be this shape. I want to be this size. I want this kind of sheath. I want all this. I said, dude, I don't even know that I can even do that affordable for you. He's like, well, I don't care. Just whatever you can do. I'm like, dude, I'm just ballparking. You're talking about a $200 or $300 knife right now without me even actually checking numbers. That's just me guessing right now. And I was like, I honestly do not feel comfortable saying yes to any of that because I don't know what it's going to cost me. I might be losing money on that. Because he wanted a specific type of, it wasn't just like a high carbon steel, it was something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, he wanted some kind of stainless. And I'm like, I don't have a forge to get it hot enough to actually heat treat stainless because it takes a lot, like 1,100 degrees or something like that, or 1,000 degrees or something like that to actually get stainless to actually heat treat. Yeah. It's a lot more of a process than people think, which kind of would lead us into a topic is that, like, custom handmade stuff ain't cheap.
No, absolutely not.
It's not supposed to be.
I think honestly, if I think about I've seen your knives, Josh. You could easily have charged people for a handmade custom knife with a sheath $250, $350. I mean, easily
Up to $400.
I mean, have you seen his knives? I would say at least $300 for a handmade custom knife, and that, dude. If people are getting a handmade custom knife for $300, I feel like they're getting a deal.
Yeah.
You see what the cool thing about that knife store is you can set up for a certain period of time, like your own place. Like the next time that you go to that store, it's probably going to be completely changed up. There's going to be different, homemade knife making companies that are there. Like it's different every time that I've walked in. I've been that was my 6th or 7th time walking into that store, and it's changing. It's constantly changes. It's not a store that sticks to one knifing company forever, with the exception of big knifing companies like Benchmade and CRKT and and Ruger, like this one I got. Like those companies obviously stay, but there's a specific level. I don't even think that we reached that before you all like found the knives that you all wanted, but there's a level, there's a certain part in that knife store where for a certain period of time, all these smaller, these smaller knife making businesses get down there. So that's just something that you consider. You take a week or so and you set up your stuff over there and just see what you can get out of it. I mean that goes for any knife store, but Smoky Mountain is probably the best store to do that. That's something that they do that I think is really cool, especially now with COVID going on. They're going crazy with trying to support smaller businesses and stuff and letting those people sell some of their product.
Shout out to Florida for opening up all the way.
Absolutely. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go up there and turn
Governor
up one day.
DeSantis, thank you.
Yep, completely lifted all the restrictions on that.
Thank you, D. Santos.
Cooper Pooper.
Too bad we don't live in Florida.
Cooper Pooper, take some notes,
I
sir.
tell you what, man.
Hey, Tennessee's getting there.
I told my roommate, I was like, man, I was like, being in that knife store today, and honestly, it did. Being in that knife store today felt the closest back to normal life. I mean, I wore a mask. I know Ben didn't wear a mask. Josh pulled his down. I wore a mask just because they had a sign on the door that said to, and
Right.
You're
You're being a law-abiding citizen. You're just being normal.
But
right.
even with the masks, that's the most normal I have felt in somewhere in
Dude,
months.
I was surprised how crowded it was.
It was packed. It was literally packed out.
It was.
I could not believe how many people were there today.
Dude, do you know what it made me think of? Gun shows.
Oh, yeah. I had
Being
that
at gun
one
shows.
forever.
And I'm like, dude, I never thought I would miss being in a crowded area until today. And I'm like, dude, I kind of miss this because it's like, it makes you, like you said, it makes you feel normal. Feels like things are back to normal. Mine will not stay on my nose because it's a face shield thing. So it'll fall down past my nose, and then it just works its way down, and I just go ahead and pull it down. I'm like, if they say something, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and fight you. I know, I don't think it works regardless of what kind of mask you wear. You know what I mean? I'm not here to argue that. I don't think it works. If you're going to get it, you're probably going to get it anyway. So it's like there's really nothing you can do. Everybody's touching everything, and nobody's 6 feet away from anybody anywhere
Well,
you go.
They've pushed harder on the mask situation, almost completely dropped wash your hands, which is good hygiene that you
should have been doing
anyway.
that since
Dude.
kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, and this is kind of crazy. I think because of COVID and the hand washing push at the beginning, when I'm at work, I wash my hands like every 5 to 10 minutes.
I've done that all my life, and my
now-
hands have suffered from it.
I think it's legit.
You have no fingerprints.
Well, no, I don't use I don't lotion my hands or anything.
Oh, yeah, you
my
do,
hands
buddy.
are freaking shut up. My hands are freaking dry as crap, dude. No, my freaking knuckles, all my knuckles crack all the time, man. It hurts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's literally not that it's a big deal, but I think that coming out of COVID, once all this blows over, I feel like I'm gonna have a stigma where I feel like I need to wash my hands every 10 minutes.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
I
No,
feel
it's
like-
not a bad thing. But I mean, I can tell a difference in my hands. My hands are always dry. I feel like just
sucks.
washing your hands makes your hands more dry, which
Yeah.
But-
sounds crazy, but I mean,
I also feel like that this whole COVID thing is going to create germaphobes.
Yes. I think it
Oh,
already
yeah.
has
Like,
been.
you're already seeing, I don't care if you don't wear a mask, but I notice so many times when people aren't wearing a mask, then I'm like, okay, he's not wearing a mask. They're not wearing a mask. Look at all the stuff they're touching. Okay, now I just touched this. Now who else is going to touch this? I'm
makes you
thinking of
think.
all this stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm not a germaphobe. I never have been.
But you're thinking about
I'm
all
the
this
type of
stuff.
guy that will go to the bathroom at work, and sometimes I don't wash my hands. And you're like, dude, that's gross. I'm like, dude, my thing is the cleanest thing in here.
Bang.
I'm not.
It really is.
I'm not.
It probably is, but I wash my hands
No,
every
no.
time,
Most time I do. I'm not saying that's a normal thing, but if there's a lot of people at the sink, I'm like, dude, I'll just wash them
And
later.
I hate. I'll get to your point in a minute.
I know that sounds nasty.
There's two
but
things I hate:
you hate me.
foam hand soap, and freaking if you don't have paper towels.
The air dryer.
Yeah.
You don't like
Dude,
the air dryer?
pisses me off.
My brother-in-law's a nurse, and he refuses to use the air dryers.
All because of the germs.
Yeah, he said, dude, they're freaking disgusting.
That's what I've always been told, but that was when I worked at a place who sold paper towels too, and I felt like that was to try to push paper towel sales. I'm like, yeah, nice try.
But you gotta the way I equated that was when you go sit down and get a tattoo. What do they use to clean you up?
Paper towels.
Paper towels, right?
hmm
So
They got to be clean, yeah.
Right.
They don't take an air dryer and just.
right.
Yeah.
You know, they also don't throw alcohol on you.
I think you're
That'd be a
right,
good time.
Josh. I think you're right, and I think that today I kind of felt that in myself, because we went as soon as we got there. I mean, we live in North Carolina, so it was a 3-hour drive for us to get to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, the first thing we do is run to the bathroom because we've been in the car for 3 hours.
Right.
Right. Well, there's this guy that walked in the store right in front of us, and he walked straight to the bathroom too. And I remember, I got done using the bathroom. I was washing my hands, and the guy walked in behind us, and used the bathroom, and walked straight out. And I was like, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that dude didn't flush.
But
Well,
I'm
I
like,
mean, then his
wait a
hands are
minute,
clean.
what are you doing?
because I feel like I'm the same as you. Like, I mean, I'm
least
not
flush.
gonna say I'm perfect, and I wash my hands every time I use the bathroom. But like, when I saw that guy not do it, I was like, you're disgusting.
Well, it's not only that, but like I'm not as mad if you go number one. But if you take a big old dooski and I watch your daggum shoes in the stall and you walk out and you touch the dang tornadoes at the Love's truck stop right before I can get them and put
Listen.
them, dude,
Exactly.
I get so mad.
I got a
Yeah.
story for you. And I can't say whether or not this is a coworker, but it's someone I've experienced.
So that means it's a coworker.
Yep.
That's not what I said. No one knows where I work. Don't say it. This dude wears fingerless gloves.
Oh no.
His fingertips are black from the stuff he touches all day. He goes in.
God, Ben.
Now, whether it's number 1 or number 2, this does not matter to him, okay? But I specifically witnessed number 2 happen, okay? He gets up after doing it and leaves the bathroom. Does not wash his hands because his gloves are still on. This same dude would grab donuts and like ball them up and eat them with those gloves on.
Wait, you said ball up donuts?
He would take
Well,
them
that's
and
bad enough.
with the dirt on his gloves and fingers and
Oh,
Wait,
God. That's
like
terrible.
how many donuts is he balling up?
just one at a time.
Well, why does he ball
Grab
them
'em
up?
I know.
He can. It's like donut holes in.
But
That's the kind. That makes me. That's
That's
like
disgusting.
grossed out enough to say, dude, don't touch the food that everybody else is eating.
Right.
I
This
mean-
is
I
that's a
mean,
guy I
I-
will not shake hands with.
I'm a fat man. I'm gonna eat the daggum food.
If
Like,
I bump
Yeah.
into him, I'm gonna cut my arm off and burn it just to be safe. Salt it and burn it. You know, supernatural.
that's disgusting.
Heck yeah.
Because that
Dude,
thing's
like-
got some paranormal activities with it.
Dude, take your gloves off. Like I wear gloves at work 90% of the time I'm on the floor. Take your gloves off when you go to the bathroom.
Yes.
That is
That's
absolutely
terrible. That's
just the thought of that to me, as someone like I said who wears gloves every day, dude, take them off, man. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Now,
Like-
with what I do, like I do wear nitrile gloves because that's what we have, and it's the easiest for me. Like they're more durable than latex. I use those, and even some people say like, "Oh man, what you washing your hands for? Like you ain't done nothing today." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably, but I'm still gonna wash my hands because I just used the bathroom."
Dude,
So, like,
I wish
I'm gonna be
somebody would
kinda
question
clean.
me washing my hands.
I know, right?
I wish somebody would question me washing my hands. Like,
I thought someone was gonna question me for not having my mask on today. I swear, like that's the other thing. That's the other side of it.
but there were so many people that didn't
Right.
have them on. I think I told Ben at one point, I was like, I've seen so many people without masks. I kind of just want to take mine off.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking that like someone's gonna say to me,
Half the people had them on, half the people didn't.
right? It was about 50. It was probably about 50-50. Yeah.
50-50.
And I think those that had them on were just trying to be respectful of the mandate or whatever was
That's
going
the
on.
only reason I wear one.
And yeah, same here. But like I had this whole thought in my mind the whole time that like mine's down, someone's gonna say something. I felt like someone with a mask on, being a customer, would say something before an employee, and I thought a customer would be like, and I had my argument ready. I was gonna say it. I didn't care. I'm like, you kick me out, I'll just go wait outside. But if someone with a mask on, a customer said, "Hey, you should probably be wearing a mask," and I'm like, "Hey, you should probably mind your own dang business." Like I was ready. I think you should always be ready with your argument.
Yes.
Always be thinking about what's going to happen
That's
and be
planning
ready to
ahead.
have an
That's
an
my
answer.
thing is like, I understand what's going on, but you're not the dang mask police or the police. Period.
Thank you.
Like, if you are, then I'll just comply. If you're a legitimate police officer or you're a person that's running the store, you're like, hey, do you mind putting your mask on? No, I don't. but don't lose your temper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or be a dick about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
You can't shop here unless you have a mask.
this is gonna sound funny, but I'll out dick you.
Here's
I love it.
where I work. We are required to wear face masks every day. We're required. It's actually part of our PPE now, and you can get wrote up if you don't have the required PPE on the floor. But they have come out and said, hey, it only takes. I work in a plant that makes drywall, and it is huge plant, and we only have maybe 18 people on the off shift. I work on the off shift, and they say you can wear your mask pull below your nose and your mouth, but if somebody comes up to talk to you, you need to pull it up. And
Because you're not around anybody for the most part of the day,
well,
right?
the closest person to me is my partner, and he's at least 6 feet away at all times.
Yeah.
Because
He's on the
we work
opposite side of like a.
we
thing.
work on the opposite side of the lines, and the board is 4 feet wide to begin with.
Yeah.
And then we've got a good about 1.5 foot of stuff between on each side. So we're at least 6 feet apart. So there's no need for me to have it up. But until, I have to, since I'm a lead, I have to interact with the supervisors and the managers and other people in the plant. And I keep mine around my chin. And as soon as somebody comes to walk up to talk to me, I'll pull it over my nose. And, that's how it works where I work. We are required to wear it, have it on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be covering all the time. And that's nice because, for one, it's easier to breathe.
right.
And two, it's like, okay, this isn't like that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like pout and complain
Right.
about having to wear a mask half
See,
on.
See, where I'm at, they're like, okay, we're mostly spread out. We're hardly around anybody because we're most of the time spread out. There's certain departments that have a lot of people in one area where you can't really stay that. I mean, even the most crowded department, they're still more than 6 feet away from each other. And that department, they're always wearing masks, which I'm like, dude, okay, you don't have to actually have it on. But they told us, look, if someone comes up to talk to you, you need to pull your mask up, right? And I'm like, my argument is, well, don't come talk to me because I have nothing to say to you. And because I know more than you. That's a Ron Swanson quote. I know more than you. Don't bother me. If I come up to you, I do that. If I go across the plant to go talk to somebody like the one black guy I work with that I told y'all about before who I love talking to.
Oh yeah.
I'll pull it up to go over there. He don't care if I have it on, but I just don't want someone to be like, hey, you need to have your mask on. And I'm like, well, screw you. I'll just go back to my work area, and then you can't say nothing. Because that's something they've said, that if you're in your work area, you don't have to have it on unless someone comes up to talk to you. And I'm like, well, I don't want no one talking to me anyway. So don't come talk to me. Let me work and go home. That's all I'm here for. I'm here for a paycheck. I don't care about this.
I don't.
Perfect.
I don't care. Like having to wear it don't bother me, as I don't have to wear it all the time anyway. But I'm pretty sure everybody here would agree it's not the easiest thing to breathe in.
Right.
I'm not
No,
complaining.
definitely not.
I'm not complaining about that. But I'm sick and tired of people making an argument like, well, people do this and people have asthma and they can't breathe and blah 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 and all you gotta do is put a
BS.
mask on, you'll be okay. Like you can breathe, or just making fun of you. You're making fun of the fact that I'm out of shape or something. Like, dude, I don't care. Like the
Right.
fact is, there's something. No matter what it is in front of your face, is not going to make it easier to breathe. It's going
Right.
to make it a little bit more difficult.
It does.
I'm
And
not going to whine about it. I'm going to put the dumb thing
you
on.
you have the blue surgical mask, right?
I don't wear. I wear.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have those at work, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, look, we're having a meeting. I'm going to put it on because obviously they're going to say something if I don't have it on. Even though they tell us to wear a mask and to be 6 feet apart. And somebody, not even anybody out in the plant, dude in the office was like, if we got a mask on, why we got to be separate? I'm like, valid point, sir, because if the mask works, why do we have to be 6 feet apart? It doesn't make any sense. Well, I tried to wear the blue surgical mask. Okay, I have a beard, as you people on YouTube can see. Not as good as Mr. E Diesel over here, but
Diesel.
But-
Diesel.
and if anyone else can attest to this, please write in and let us know your experiences with masks and tell us like your worst or best, whatever you have to say about masks. If you want to combat us on any of this stuff, that's fine too. We'll read it.
I have
I
a
don't
lot
care.
from basic training.
Shut your mouth. But that blue surgical
slides
style
up.
mask, right? No, here's my problem. It actually makes my face itch
Okay. Yeah.
to where like I'm breathing in it and I'm trying to keep it over my nose. I'm trying to be, a good boy, a good law-abiding citizen, and it's actually causing my face to itch to where I'm starting to touch it more,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't be touching it.
Well, dude, my dad's had to wear one because he's a college professor, and he's tried to wear all sorts of different ones, but his face is breaking out. He's only got like a mustache.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that made me mad in the beginning, is they were trying to push everybody that had a beard to shave their beard and wear the mask.
Yeah, I ain't doing it.
And I'm like, no, you're getting too much. You're getting too
Yeah,
far
you-
with this now.
1 second, boys.
That's right, Kevin Hart.
Love it.
In case anybody's wondering, we did see the Bush's Baked Bean Factory today.
Yes.
in
The
Tennessee.
main one. The
Biggest
main one.
can
The
of
main
baked
one.
beans I've ever seen.
That
They
was
have-
awesome.
they have a
I
museum
literally
at
got
that.
I literally got stinky farts just from seeing it.
They have a museum, and y'all should have found that.
Well, yeah,
They had a
it was-
visitor center.
Well, yeah, they had a visitor center, but people were dying in front of that.
There was
plant.
literally a paramedic van and an ambulance.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, damn,
Hey, and
people
this
are
guy-
dying to get these Bush's baked beans.
What I
Because they
love
ate too many
is
of them.
a volunteer fireman showed up in his little Kia car, and he had emergency lights in it like I had in my GMC.
Was he
Dude,
from Tennessee
That
too?
was so cool.
Hey, the funniest thing about it,
Yeah, he was. He had to have been.
and it's it's hard. Whenever you see police and paramedics and firemen showing up on the scene of something, it's pretty serious. But the ambulance, somebody moved the ambulance, and the guy hopped out, and he was wearing jeans and a camo shirt. And I told Josh, I said, "That's the paramedics' uniform in Tennessee."
Exactly, it is.
A camo shirt and jeans.
You better believe it is.
and a can of Grizzly in the back
Yeah.
sprocket. That's the paramedics. That's the paramedics uniform in Tennessee.
Yep.
That's a load of beans.
Hey, I want to.
I've picked up there too, by the
I
way.
want to tell you something I seen like a week or so back, and this can be anything y'all can relate to. And if you think of something that will relate to this, like please talk about it. But because this to me, I did not laugh at the time. Okay, when I seen it happen, I seen this unfold in front of my eyes. I did not laugh at the time. I actually felt sorry for the dude, but I'll be honest, maybe 3 seconds after, I did laugh. But the dude was on a moped trying to make a U-turn. He laid it down. That sounds hilarious. I promise you, I did not laugh when I seen it. I said, "Oh," and then I was like, "Wait a minute," and then I started laughing because he had to put it back on the kickstand and start it back up because it cut off.
Love it.
And I'm like, dude, I didn't laugh at first because I'm like, dude, that would happen to me. If I was on a moped trying to do a U-turn, I know that would happen to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw the guy. You remember the road you used to live on, Armstrong Park?
Yeah.
If you turned off that road right onto New Hope, where
Yeah.
the CVS is on the corner, there's a curb and a sidewalk there. I saw a dude on one turn into the curb and fall over.
Love it. Perfect.
That's why they call them liquor cycles.
It's a liquor store. Get to the liquor store, boy, and get back home. That's right.
You know, fun fact, in the state of North Carolina, you have to now have insurance and a tag on those things.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't have to have a license.
Of
though.
course
I
you
still,
do. It's North Carolina.
right.
That's true.
They're gonna tax everything.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad everybody else is finding this out now.
Yeah.
But
God,
you don't
this
have to have a
thing-
license, though, right? in North
I don't
Carolina?
think you have to have a license on it.
Because as long as it doesn't go over 35, you don't have to have a license.
But you do have to have tag and insurance to drive it on the street.
But if it does go over 35, you do have to have a license, I think.
I think.
I think that's the exception there. Because I was in South Carolina. I seen this moped. And this guy was on it, right? And anytime you get behind a moped, and some of y'all listeners can probably relate to this, you get behind a moped on like a back road, and you're like, oh, come on, man. Really? I'm trying to get home. It's like 45, 50 on this road, and I know you can only do 35, right?
Yep.
Well, here's a moped that I get behind and a car in front of him. Well, that car turns off. This moped takes off, dude.
Yeah.
I had to like really catch speed to catch up to him. I'm doing like 50, and I'm just now catching up to this dude.
Took the governor off that thing.
He did because then he stopped to turn left, and I'm like, there ain't no way. Like this thing is souped up or something. He's done something to this thing. He took the governor off. He did some modifications to this moped. He turns left, and dude is like just takes off and it's gone, dude. And I promise you, it was not one of the mini crotch rockets. This was a legit liquor sickle. And it was just, I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Dude, I freaking love it, dude. It's hilarious.
I'll tell you,
Ethan's gonna buy one.
I really like. I really
Then he's
appreciate.
gonna start a moped gang.
Shut up. the babies of anarchy.
You know, I really appreciate the
Have
guys,
prospects and everything.
the guys who drive the mopeds, and they'll just get over and they'll just wave you on. Like they just know.
yeah.
It's like, come on, pal. I know I'm.
Hey,
slow.
some don't.
I know that.
Some
But that's what I'm saying.
don't.
That's what I'm saying. I appreciate the ones,
The ones
who
that do.
Yes.
Because it's like, dude, you know what? You know, thank you. Thank you for understanding your current situation enough to let me pass to you.
What bothers me more than someone like on like a moped is the bicyclers
Yes. Oh my God.
with the shorty shorts and
The
their
fags,
helmets and
the
their
tights.
sunglasses.
That guy's wearing a unitard, and that thing is tight as crap.
The dude is super wind resistant.
He's got his shoes hooked into his pedals.
Dude,
Yeah, you know if he fell over, he'd have a hard time getting off that bike.
Absolutely.
you just lay there and keep pedaling.
Damn
Y'all ever seen?
to get my feet off the pedals.
You ever seen the video of the guy? It's super famous now. He was a
Lance
really
Armstrong?
big guy, and he wrecked on a moped. Like that thing, he did a complete 2 backflips up in the air, fell in an intersection, and just gets right back. Okay, I'm silenced.
What?
That was your volume.
Fell,
in your
he
headphones.
fell like he flips that moped up in an intersection, and then he just gets up and picks his bike up and just hops on it and starts driving again. That's loud as crap.
I know. I found it. That was awesome.
That's cool.
Are you ready for your
Hey.
science fact of the week?
Please, everyone.
Hey, and then can I tell my
Oh.
story about me hitting that possum?
Yes.
Oh, let's hear the possum
Yeah, let's
story
hear-
first.
okay. That goes in with the road rage stuff. All right, it's time for Ben's Barnacle Backyard Barn Stories.
Ben's possum update.
Possum.
Ben's
Just call me possum, by God.
Ben's Backyard Barn Update. There we go.
All right.
Ben's
So-
Ben's.
Ben's
First of all, I've got.
Mercedes Benz.
Hey, hold on, wait. Before you start, how weird is the name Ben? Is that not
I've
weird?
been there, done that.
And why is it spelled different than the word Ben?
Why are you making fun
right,
of 3-letter
Ben,
names?
Ben. That's the American language
So why are
for
you
you.
making fun of 3-letter names?
Hey man, I got
English?
My uncle's name is Todd with 1 D, dude. I ain't got nothing against three
Technically,
letter
it's
names.
Benjamin.
Cody, listen, English is the hardest language to learn. And you know why I know this? And I'll let you get to your Ben's
they're-
Backyard Barbecue or whatever.
There is the
Right. No,
spelled 3 different
you never realize how hard English is until you have to teach a 6-year-old. Because this whole COVID crap, we're having to homeschool and stuff, and like my wife can attest to this, and she's not down here right now, but like trying to teach our son, it's like he's like that doesn't make sense. I'm like, yeah, I know. Now that you say that, it doesn't make sense.
It's not meant to make sense.
I don't understand it. I just know how to speak it.
like through and through. Like I threw the ball, THREW.
Right.
Then I walked through
Through
the door,
that.
THROU.
Which?
Yeah.
Which? I don't know.
Which?
Like they
good
sound
sandwich shop.
the same, but they're spelled different. It's how you use them. But like, no, it doesn't make sense. It's like I know how to speak it. I don't know how to understand it. It's different. But anyway,
Ben's
now it's time
Possum
for
Update.
Ben's Backyard Barbecue. What'd you have
Story.
for barbecue? Possum? Did you have
Yeah.
possum for barbecue?
Possum barbecue.
Dude,
No.
I would try
should've.
that. I'd try it. Would you try it?
I had the possum for it.
Would you try it, Matt? Would you try possum barbecue?
Yeah, I would try it.
I would.
Depending on how it was killed. If Ben ran it over,
Roadkill, I wouldn't do it.
if Ben ran it over with his car and painted the front of his hood with blood, I would not eat it.
Well,
But if it was killed,
If he snuck up behind that possum and just strangled him in a real naked choke, I
Yeah.
think I'd eat it then.
rear naked choke hold.
He's like, listen here, possum, you ain't gonna play dead on me, boy.
He's like Macho Man Randy Savage. Listen here, possum.
listen here.
Being off the top rope, boom, on the possum.
If you want to see me run over this possum with my Honda Accord, let me get a hell yeah.
Let me get a hell yeah.
What?
Get a hell yeah.
What? It doesn't matter how you killed that possum.
Skull yeah.
Anyway, Ben's backyard barnacle barbecue.
Possum update.
You know,
Possum update.
backtacular. Whatever.
Possum
I'm trying to think of these bees, bitch. Whatever.
So,
Butch.
a little bit of backstory on this. I went home to Tennessee early on Friday.
Yes, let's give it up for Ben. He went back home, boys.
I went back home, and one of my cousins got engaged. Shout out to Morgan and Avery. They listen to this podcast.
Do they?
Yes, they
I was
do.
gonna say, don't call nobody out if they don't like this show.
Oh no, they love this show.
That's a
What's
nice
their names?
truck.
Morgan and Avery.
Morgan and Avery, thank you so much.
Soon to be Morgan
you.
and Avery Peters.
You don't have to
One
say their
day.
last name.
You would like Peters,
Wait.
wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Can I say this? Peters is their last name.
Peters.
I love Peters.
Dang.
Anyway, sorry.
Peters forever.
Morgan and Avery, thank you.
Yeah, and so my youngest uncle, is a gearhead like myself, and he's one of those that'll buy a truck or an old car, and they're turning me up. This is so distracting.
I'm gonna turn you on, buddy.
Yeah, this is so distracting, and he buys these trucks and he'll clean them up, do a thing or two to them to make them better, and put some value into them, and then he'll
Value?
put them up for sale.
That
That is so loud.
put value.
Put some Valium in them?
Yeah, he puts some value in them, and then he puts them back up for sale.
I've
But
had Valium before.
he bought a, for all of you low riding square body riders out there,
That's this dick.
that's some good stuff right there. He had a 93 Chevrolet Silverado short bed square body.
Ooh.
I mean, completely restored.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
pointed front end.
Oh,
Okay.
pointed front end, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
And it was so great. 305 small block, MagnaFlow exhaust. It was amazing. Sprayed in bed liner. Oh, it was great.
You ruined it.
I did not ruin it, but
You ruined it.
I was coming off of I-26, and I don't know if you've all ever seen how a possum tries to sprint across the road, but it looks like it's floating
Oh
because
God.
its legs,
Jesus.
are just moving so fast. You can't see the legs; you can only see its
Apparently,
body.
possums fly.
They do.
No, he
According
didn't
to
say
Ben.
fly. He said
They float on
They
air. I'm
flew.
telling you. I mean, it's just
float.
you know.
Earlier
just-
today, they
And so-
floated. He flew earlier today.
When he came
flew.
in front of me,
He
I'm
came?
like,
Let him get through the story, please.
when he came in,
Josh, let the man talk.
when he came in
like
front
I
of
ain't
me,
the only one.
when he ran out in front of me, you know, I'm like, well, I can't get him in between the truck because the truck's sitting too dang low. It's going to hit him no matter what. And he ain't even going to clear the bumper, and buddy, he didn't. And I hit him hard. I was coming around that exit, and I was going a good 50 miles an hour, and kaplow! I mean, it sounded horrible.
That's when possums do fly
And I
off the front
stopped.
bumper and that old Silverado.
That's when he
And
flew.
I pulled over. I pulled over inside a gas station. I was like, I better check the bumper on this truck. Like, this thing is that was bad. I pulled over, and surely enough, there's a good old splat of blood on the side of the passenger side of the bumper. And I'm like, crap! He just bought this truck, and it's brand spanking new, and I got to clean this shit off. And
My question about this. Did you turn back and go get the possum?
heck no,
Then you're not from Tennessee, sir. You are an imposter.
I ate him.
You're What?
I just grabbed him off the road and ate him. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, if you didn't, that's pretty sus, dude. That's pretty sus.
Dang.
Like, you're supposed to go back and get him. That's
Get
what,
outta here.
That's what Tennesseans do.
No, because I had to go back for something, and then I saw him on the road there. I saw my kill on the side of the road, and I was like, hey, skull, yeah, brother. Don't you ever run into the front of a square body like that again. Don't you ever run in front of a lowrider like that again.
Fudge.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Maldición. Yeah. Maldición. We gotta teach. We gotta get you in on this.
Get me in on what? Get me in on
This is
what?
our thing. Okay.
That's our thing.
I'm sure people on the
What is it?
podcast have heard this before.
Are y'all speaking another language?
No.
Yep. Spanish.
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 So
This is America.
used to Ben would say 3, 2, 1. Damn.
Yeah.
That was like his thing, right?
We were eating at a Mexican
We were-
restaurant.
Right, at a Mexican restaurant, and I looked up, like, because he was like, Tres, dos, uno. He's like, what is the word damn? And I looked it up on Google.
And it's maldición.
It's maldición. So now we say tres, dos, uno, maldición. Now, if you happen to be a Spanish speaking listener, please write in and tell us exactly what we're saying when we say maldición. this could be a lot worse than we think.
Yep.
Because I did try to.
Because that's
do it-
what Google said.
I did try to Google like a Spanish word one time when we had this Cuban lady as our like janitor because like she couldn't speak a lick of English, and I said something to her, and apparently I told something to her that was not very nice about her mother,
That's me.
and she got very upset and then laughed.
As most people would.
But she also flipped me off all the time, so like I didn't feel too bad. I also used to whenever she had like a dust pile, I would be listening to Johnny Cash and doing like a little two-step in it.
Do the two-step.
No, not that two-step. Like more like
Are you talking about the hardcore two-step?
no, I'm talking about like a Johnny Cash.
Which one mutes Ben?
I was talking about like the Johnny Cash song, you know, like get a rhythm. When you get the blues, oh, get a rhythm. I was like dancing to that, and I'm over here dancing in her dust pile, and she's like, I don't even remember what she said, but I can tell you by her tone alone, it was not good. Post Malone.
You know, there's this guy that comes around. I don't know his name. I should learn his name. He comes around and cleans our plant Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, every other day. And he comes out on Sundays sometimes too. But he'll come around and clean the bathrooms and stuff. And I guess he's just like a contract worker for some cleaning company or whatever. Super cool guy. I mean, we've had like some really good conversations before. Just because he comes down there right where I work. My little area has a bathroom. And so he comes down there and cleans the bathroom. So we'll hang out and talk. And he calls me Chief. Every time he comes by, he's like, "What's up, Chief?" And
Pontiac Chief.
I say, "What's up, boss man?" And man, we have some great conversations. An awesome guy, just an awesome guy. I don't know his name. I should actually learn his name.
I was gonna say, is his name Johnny?
I don't know.
Is he a black guy?
He's black.
Does he wear glasses?
Yeah.
Is he bald headed, kind of?
I don't know because he has to wear a hard hat in our plant.
Oh, okay. Well, is he kind of like, not really skinny, but kind of like thin framed?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say he's probably smaller than I am, but not skinny. He's not like Ben's size.
Okay,
He's
because
probably
like,
around your size.
He's
please
not
learn
fun
his
size like
name
me.
because there is a guy who has the same kind of attitude that cleans our house now, or like our place now, and he's always got a good attitude, like singing and all this other stuff. He's always got a good attitude, and I feel like that is very, to me, people like, and I'm not trying to be condescending at all to anyone who like does cleaning as their job. You know what I mean? Because it's still tough work. It really is. It's still, I consider that blue collar, whether y'all agree or not.
Oh yeah.
I definitely feel like that's still blue collar.
Red light, green light.
But I have met the most. Shut your mouth, Ben. Tennessee sucks. Go Gamecocks.
It's 21-7 right now involved.
Shut your mouth.
Nobody
But-
asked for a.
Well, no one needs an
score
update. Listen,
Gamecocks are getting cocked.
Wow. Wow.
but I have
We're only
met
47 minutes into this thing, and we just went there.
I have met like
48 on the
the
dot.
most, other than
When I
this
looked
Cuban
up.
lady that I was talking about earlier.
That's good.
I have met the most humble people in this type of field that go around cleaning up these workplaces and stuff. Because you'll ask them, like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, just being nice, and they're like, "Oh, I'm having a blessed day," and it's like, you kind of makes you think. You're like, "Man, dude, like this dude's cleaning this place, and he's having a blessed day," and I complain about my job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This-
It kind of gives you a humble experience.
This guy that cleans our plant, and I'm not joking around. This guy knew about Gatlin before we even announced it on Facebook. He knew we were having a kid before we announced it. I told him because he's my friend. I consider him a friend. I mean, he's there 3 nights a week, sometimes 4, and he'll usually spend a good 15, 20 minutes just hanging out down there, and we'll talk. You know, I mean, that's his job. His job, he told me that he cleans multiple places. So I'm sure he's trying to get in and out of there as fast as he can, but he'll spend 10, 15 minutes down there hanging out, talk.
Yeah.
And cool guy, super cool guy.
Our guy, he comes there every day, Monday through Friday. And he's just always coming in. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Josh." I'm like, "Hey, man." He's like, all right. You know, and he just talks to everybody. Like, the fact that he knows my name is one thing because I actually don't wear a uniform that says my name on it.
Ooh.
If I did, it was one time. And this dude remembered my name. I don't remember people that started at our place and has worked there for 6 months. I'm not going to remember your name because I don't think you're going to last. That's just me. I don't try to learn your name. I'm like, "Hey, you dude. Hey, yeah, you. That's how I am. But I'm a jerk,
Does your name say Josh or Joshua?
Josh.
Dang.
Usually, if in the plant, because we've had a lot of new hires lately in the last 6 months or so. So I don't usually learn their name until they're on their own on a job. So I usually either call them brother or boss man. Or homie. I'll say homie.
We
What's
had
up, homie?
we had this one guy that used to work with us, and he called everybody boss man, right? And it doesn't matter whose race is who. I'm not getting in a race war, but this particular guy was white, but he called everybody boss man. And he said it to this one particular black man, and that guy got upset because he called him boss man. He thought he was being condescending to him, and I'm like,
By calling him boss man?
right. He's like, man, you just being racist. You just saying it. You just trying to make fun of me and this and that. And like he trying to make a deal out of it. And I even told him, I'm like, dude, you call me boss man. Like, I don't think nothing about it. So people call me, hey man, or hey brother, hey Bobby, hey Joe, whatever. I don't care what you call me. You know, just don't call me stupid. I'll be all right.
Or late for dinner.
Don't call me stupid or late for
My
dinner.
name is Bobby Joe.
Get out of here, Ben.
Meet my twin sister Betty Lou.
Science fact.
Science
Science
time.
fact. Science fact.
Science fact. Science fact. Where'd you get those science facts?
Bill.
I'm actually not a fan of Bill Nye the Science
Me neither. I just
He's an
remember
atheist.
that
Well,
from
not just
middle school.
You know,
He's an atheist. He's lost.
religion aside, the guy is just kind of a.
I don't think he's a real scientist.
No.
I'm just gonna let that out there.
No,
He's an actor.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he's not a real scientist.
He's an actor.
But
He's
the guy
right.
just seems like a pompous jerk. He just seems like.
You mean
a-
like Ben?
No, Ben. No,
Hey.
Ben is a very nice guy.
I'm being
being
stupid.
I've gotten to know Ben pretty well the last few weeks. Ben's an awesome guy.
Hey Ben, glad to see
Bill
you on the
Nye,
podcast.
the science guy, not a nice guy. Kind of seems like a jerk.
I agree.
Did you know that Mars has poles, North and South Pole, just like the Earth does, that are capped, frozen? Did you know that?
That's pretty sweet.
Shed boiler.
And did you know that Mars is actually colder than Earth?
I did know that one.
Did you know it has carbon dioxide?
It's the atmosphere. You only know
Only.
that because I told you that in the
I know
car
that.
today.
You're my science guy. I gotta sound
But
smart
listen to this.
sometimes.
So since you bring that up, and since I said something about the poles,
yes.
the polar caps on Mars, are more like dry ice, frozen carbon dioxide. It's not water ice.
You mean it's like foggy?
It's like,
If you're on the
It's-
North Pole of Mars, it's foggy.
I'm not gonna say it's foggy, but it's
It had to have
it's-
water to be
it is
foggy.
dry ice.
If you brought water to Mars and poured it on the North Pole, would it be foggy?
If you brought water to Mars, it would immediately freeze.
Shit. Shit boiler.
Mars is frigid. Mars is frigid, and it has a lot of dust storms.
Because it's what?
It's
fourth
further,
planet.
Yep, further away from the sun.
I always think it's like second for some reason.
Everybody thinks that Mars is hot
Because it's red.
because it's red.
Red has to be hot.
They think it's hot. but
Orange
it's not.
is stupid. Orange is the dumbest color
It's not.
ever.
And
He's not even listening. Orange is the dumbest color ever. Orange is the dumbest color.
I just remembered he's wearing his Tennessee shirt, and you just said orange.
You look like you're a construction worker who got lost.
We matched.
You dang right he
matched.
does, don't he?
Watch it. Stop, sir. One lane road right here.
Ben, would you go to Mars
Yes.
if the opportunity arose?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
It would
Would
take
you really?
3 years to get there, wouldn't it?
No.
2 years?
6 to 7 months.
Okay, but probably a round trip would probably be at
You would
least a
probably be
3 year
gone.
trip,
You would
right?
probably be gone for about 3 years.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen
I've
when
got a
I
science
become an
fact.
intergalactic truck driver?
You are
What?
already
that'd be
intergalactic.
sweet.
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
I have a science fact.
Let's hear it.
Did you know that, I don't know if it's necessarily a science fact, but did you know that the space shuttle, well, the rocket, I guess, Discovery, blew up because of a simple O-ring?
You're talking about Challenger.
Challenger, dude.
Challenger, sorry.
Did
Not
Get your
Discovery.
facts straight,
Did you
Bill.
watch the documentary they
Yes.
just put out on Netflix?
That's so great.
Incredible documentary. If you haven't watched it,
Please
check it out.
watch
It's
it.
called Challenger: The Final Flight. It's
I told
awesome.
Josh to, but he won't.
Right. No, I didn't say I wouldn't.
So,
But I was telling Matt earlier,
He's too cool for that.
while we're on the subject of Netflix and shows, because sometimes I like to talk about Netflix shows, because
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, if you haven't checked that out, check that out, but that's not related to this. But Away, with Hilary Swank. Check that out
Dude,
if
is
you
Hilary
have not
Swank
watched
hot?
that. She is not. She does not age very well. I'll just say that. No,
Jeez,
she
man.
can be hot, but she's not in this
Poor Hilary
series.
Swank, dude. Poor Hilary
Like,
Swank.
I don't know, dude. Like, if it was me and her and we were the last people on Earth,
If you had to
I
repopulate
think I would
the
be
Earth-
celibate. But
What's that mean?
means I would not have sex for the rest of my life. But no. But to talk about the show Away that she's in, and it's about a mission to Mars to be the first people on Mars. And they mentioned something about she mentioned something about being gone for 3 years. That's why I figured like a round trip is probably about 3 years, maybe.
I would say to go to Mars as an astronaut or a first settler of Mars, you should at least expect you should at least expect to be gone from Earth for at least 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Because you got to think, I mean, you're going to want to be there for a while.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're going to want to
But-
explore.
Ooh, another crazy thing, and then we'll get right back to the Mars. But they just did this test on these rats. They launched these rats from China up to the International Space Station.
Do they have COVID?
No, listen. So they're trying because they're talking about going to Mars,
Yeah.
and they're afraid that being on Mars with so much less gravity is going to make your bones weak. So when you come back to Earth, your bones are just going to break by just walking or existing.
Wow.
So they sent these rats up. They sent I think like 10 rats, and so 5 of them were just normal rats, and 5 other ones had this injection done to make their muscles.
Steroids.
It's kind of like steroids, but I don't think it's just like normal steroids. But, dude, you got to see these pictures of these rats. They look jacked, dude. They're huge. Like, them side-by-side comparison to the one
I'm
normal
going to eat
ones.
your cheese.
Dude.
Sorry.
But anyways, so I guess that's what they're going to give people that
It's
go
like a
to
palm-sized
Mars.
pit bull.
because, to try and help with their muscle and their bones whenever they have so much less gravity. But anyways, what you were saying about Mars. I can't remember.
Back to that. No, I just want to talk about the show because I started watching it thinking,
Oh yeah,
okay,
3 to 5 years. I would say at least 3 to 5 years.
all right. But I started watching it thinking I'm not going to get into this. But like by the first episode, and this isn't spoiling anything, but she is on the moon and they launch from the moon to Mars. That was their setup, which me and Matt talked about that earlier. That's probably not the best possible way to do it, but that's how they did it in the series. When they're on the moon, her husband's back on Earth and he works for NASA and he gets a stroke while she's on the moon. She has to make a decision whether or not to go on or whether to come home right then. And that immediately made me hooked because I'm like, okay, that's pretty intense for a first episode to me.
Like camping with my family.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's intense. But I'm not going to ruin any more, but it's really good. Like it really, they really did a pretty good job of developing the characters of the show and stuff like that, kind of giving like, because what it is, it's not just America going to Mars. It's America, England, China, Russia, and like India.
Why has England not had any real, at least that I know of, any real bid on going to space? They literally, it's literally just America, and America just got back into sending the people to space
Right.
because they shut down the shuttle program in 2011. And
Thanks, Obama.
And we just launched people. Well, no, I think it was a great no, dude. After all the things that happened with the space shuttle, and that goes back to that documentary about Challenger.
Yeah.
That thing was dangerous.
And what
I'd say-
we've learned about SpaceX.
How many times sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What
but
does that tell you about SpaceX and how like stuff can actually be done a lot better in the right amount of time?
100%. I think that them going commercial was the best decision they ever made because SpaceX is a private company. They can set their own timelines. They can go as quick as they want, and those guys,
Dude,
are so
Now,
fast.
if you trust the government to send you to the moon, okay, well, tell the DMV to get your car ready to go to the moon.
Yeah.
Because if
dude.
the government shows you how good they are by the DMV, judge it by the DMV.
Dude, if we
Bro.
populate,
I'll populate with you.
all right, if we go to Mars and we start living on Mars, we got to make the moon like like a midway point.
A rest
Well,
stop.
Yeah,
See-
a rest stop.
Well,
You don't understand? I gotta have my pilot
That's
coffee.
what I'm saying. Like I gotta hit the Flying J while I'm my.
There's gonna be a
intergalactic
pilot
run
on
to
the moon.
Mars.
There's gonna be a pilot on the moon, boy.
I gotta pull in there. And
I'm a
take-
space trucker. I
so
gotta get my
that's what
coffee.
I'm saying, man.
so
Peterbilt should build a rocket ship.
That's what I'm
NASA, no, Peterbilt should not build a rocket ship. They should leave that up.
It's
They
gonna be
should-
a Tesla.
They should leave that up to SpaceX.
It's
Those
gonna be a
guys-
Tesla
now,
rocket
now
ship.
ULA, United Launch Alliance, they're another private company. They make some great rockets. Awesome. But SpaceX, just the fact that they can 100% reuse a rocket, just makes them. It sets them on another bar. To me personally,
Man.
because it's so much cheaper to use reusable rockets. But so, all that being said, I think in by the year 2024, I think NASA is trying to have a base,
Yep.
some sort of sustainable life system on the moon. They already have chosen 3 finalists to launch their new lunar lander. SpaceX is one of those.
I'm gonna
And,
tell you right now, if my daggum rocket ain't got a long hood and a 300-inch wheelbase, I ain't going.
Yep, that's exactly.
But
Shit, baby.
I personally, and me and Josh talked about this earlier because he said in that show they used the moon. I don't think going to the moon to launch to try to go to Mars is the best idea, because you're going to use a lot of fuel going to the moon, and then you're going to have to refuel when you get there, and there's virtually no way to refuel on the moon.
Flying J and the Petro and the pilot, they
But-
all need to get together.
That's funny and all, but like SpaceX, their system is they're going to launch a ship with nobody on it up into orbit.
They put a Tesla up there, didn't they?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like way gone. They sent that thing way gone.
Yeah.
It's not even near Earth anymore.
That's
I feel bad for that car.
that's orbit trash now.
They really put a
But-
car in space?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll show you the video after this. It was awesome. It was awesome.
But
It was
see-
the first time they tested their Falcon Heavy, which is 3 of their Falcon 9 rockets basically tied together.
Dang.
That launch at the same time, tied together. They launch up, and then the 2 split off, and the 1 keeps going. It's to get stuff into further orbits or out of the orbit of the Earth.
Wow.
So that Tesla's just like.
And it's cool because
gone.
it's gone. But it's cool because both of the side boosters land on the ground at the same time.
Wow.
I'll show you the video after this. It's cool.
But like what you were saying about the space shuttle program shutting down in 2011,
ever
I
gonna
agree with
drive
that
it.
because how many times did you count in that documentary when they put it in writing that those O-rings are going to really cause that thing to explode?
I think it was like 9 or 10 times.
9 or 10 times they put it in writing. And I say O-rings and I make fun of that, but seriously, these 40-foot long, I don't know how many inches thick in diameter O-rings were holding each section of the fuel cells in place. And they were keeping that thing, they were
Well-
keeping fuel, like ignited fuel from coming out of the fuel
Well,
cells.
if you look at like blowing a seal in a turbo or something, you know what I mean?
But also, and I don't want to
That's it.
ruin this for you all, but when the day of launch, it was
You ruined it.
30 degrees.
Yeah, it was below.
You don't
freezing.
have to be an engineer to know that rubber becomes a hell of a lot less resilient
And brittle.
and
Yeah.
brittle when it's cold.
Yep.
And it's going to break like loose dirt.
Those guys from
That's
NASA
an
that
interesting
approved
analogy there, Ben.
those guys from NASA that approved that launch. I told Josh we talked about this. We actually talked about that documentary earlier today on the way up to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I told them they should be in prison for the rest of their lives. The guys,
Well,
the
here's
guys that
That
approved,
rejected?
the guys that approved that launch with perfectly good. The engineers that designed and built those rocket boosters told them this is going to be dire consequences if you launch. And they said, okay, well, we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah,
because
we're
we
gonna
have-
launch
That's-
anyways.
That's what I'm saying is that's where you need, and y'all are gonna laugh at this, but I'm really not trying to be funny. But this is where you need old Jim with his daggone Marlboro with half of it's an ash hanging out of his mouth, going, "Boys, y'all like that daggone rocket? That O-ring is gonna go, boy."
It didn't matter.
Yeah. You bring a Jiffy Lube mechanic in there,
No,
and
I'm
he's going to
saying,
say,
like-
well, the rocket's going to
like-
blow up because
like-
these O-rings.
Like, say he's got he had to be the mechanic on duty that had to approve the launch. Say like they had to have that say they had to have that.
Yeah.
Like, and they go up to old Bill, and he's like, man, that flicks his ash off, and he's like, no, man, y'all better not do that today.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You better
basi-
hold it off. And there were engineers that were at Cape Canaveral in that little trailer that had the committee meeting that said, hey, I'm telling you, we don't need to launch this rocket right now.
Yep. And the guys from NASA got upset with the company that produces the rockets. They were upset with them. They said, we cannot believe y'all would say we should not launch this rocket. We cannot believe that I can't remember the name of the company, but we cannot believe y'all would. That's y'all's official recommendation.
Is it
And they said, you know what? Give us a half an hour. We need to talk about this as a company. And they called him back a half an hour later, and all the engineers told him, this is not. We shouldn't do this. What is that?
What? What did you say?
I don't know. You're laughing at me. They told him.
Go ahead.
They told him we should not do this. And
But this just goes back to the government. The American people were ready for a launch. So the government was going to do a launch. I'm telling you.
well, the guys at NASA had timelines, and they're trying to keep these timelines. But you know what's crazy is they had a perfect day to launch, the original launch day. Yeah. The meteorologist said you're going to have storms this day. Well, the storms didn't roll in until that evening. They had hours. They had hours to launch.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. And then the next day it thunderstormed, so they canceled it then too.
Yeah.
And that third day, the guys at NASA were so adamant about launching, they killed 7 people because they wanted to. Because they were so concerned about keeping a timeline. They killed 7 people.
I mean, Ethan, let's say you needed to replace like 3 O-rings on your valves in your truck. Are you going to do it when it's 25 degrees outside?
Yeah.
Well, usually I'm in a heated shop, but
Exactly. Well, I mean, imagine, it was a freak accident while you're on a haul.
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I mean, are you going to do that? Are you going to do that in that kind of weather?
I'm not going to do
No.
a doggone thing. I'm going to call somebody that knows what they're doing because I'm not a mechanic.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. I mean, anybody who works in a normal lube shop could have walked in there and said, "Hey, this isn't a good idea."
Yeah.
Anybody. It didn't have to be an engineer.
Well, of course, they wouldn't have known how it's built, but you know what I'm getting at
exactly.
when I made
Exactly.
that point.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
These guys had over and over and over again, they saw where these O-rings were failing.
Yeah, on top of that, the
They had
O-rings are
2.
already failing.
They had 2. They had 2 O-rings in these seals between these
2
sections
O-rings per
of the
seal.
rocket. And
Meshed together like
before
that.
this happened, it was the coldest launch they had ever done, and they got the rocket back from when it landed in the ocean, and they checked it, and they saw that it had actually burned through the first one and was already charring the second one. And so when they did the Challenger launch, it was even colder than that one.
Yeah.
And if you ever watch the footage of the Challenger explosion of the disaster, you can see
You can
on
see
that,
it.
on that rocket booster that flame come out
Yep.
from the side of that rocket
Yep.
booster.
Yep.
So you know those O-rings failed
Yep.
because it couldn't hold it in.
That's all of a sudden it starts melting the side of that fuel cell, and it's
Yep.
like, okay,
And
you
that was
just
it.
you just lost 7. You just lost 7 dedicated American workers
and one normal citizen.
and one normal
that's right.
citizen. Yeah, one
And-
was a teacher at a
That's
school.
right.
You just took a teacher that all these kids admired so much. You just took her. You just took her life,
And the craziest part about it,
or you allowed her to die. I guess.
yeah, the craziest part about it is it is the most publicized, one of the most, if not the most publicized space launch of all time. Even before the explosion, even if it hadn't ended in a disaster.
Yeah.
This launch was so publicized at people, thousands and thousands and probably millions of people were watching this because someone like you and I was going to go to space for
Yeah.
the first time. For the first time.
And they
And so-
killed him,
Yeah.
basically.
Those guys at NASA cared more about their timelines and what their bosses were going to come down on them for than human lives, and that's despicable.
Yeah, and they say that on the documentary. I don't see that you know, the families of those people. They're like, I don't see how those people sleep at night.
And the guy, and one of the guys who okayed it, one of the main guys from NASA, he didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah.
He said that he stood by his decision.
There's only one that they interviewed on that documentary. He's an older guy who literally says, I was part of the committee. He admits to being a part of the committee that wanted to continue the launch. And he said, it's you can tell just, you know, watching him talk that it has him messed up pretty bad. And he admits that. Like, he's a really old guy, like, you know, a veteran in the Air Force and all that. But, yeah, you know.
How could you not? How
How
could
could
you
you
not feel
not?
guilty?
Well, boys, I think that's all we have time for today. We don't have the iPad out here, so we can't do our last intro. But I would like to
These
give a
nuts.
shout out to Smoky Mountain Knife Works
Yes.
again, because
Yes.
that was an awesome trip.
Amen and amen.
It was a good time, and if you're in Tennessee, if you're near Tennessee, go to Sevierville, check out Smoky Mountain Knife Works. You
Go
will
buy you a
not be
Benchmade.
disappointed.
Go buy you a Benchmade.
Absolutely.
And a CRKT.
As always, BlueCollarBoysOfficial.com is our official website. If you'd like to send us an email, talk about any of the things we've talked about today or on the past podcast, just, you know, put that in the message. We will read it on the next one.
We'd actually like some feedback.
We
I
do like
think,
feedback,
from
yes.
well, no, from our guys or our people that have been listening regularly. If y'all could let us get some feedback on this one, because we went what I'm gonna call a la carte.
Yeah, we did.
Almost.
This podcast was actually spontaneous. We did not have the topics ready ahead of time. We just
That
all
works.
natural, baby.
That works.
Swing
I think
low,
a la
sweet
carte's
chariots.
picking all sorts of crap.
I think natural conversation can be a great thing. And, you know,
Yeah.
you get some really nice conversation out of just
I think
no
that,
script and just talking.
I think this was one of the good podcasts we've had in a long time. We've had some good ones in the past, not too long ago. This is very natural. But as always, Blue Collar 15, that's Blue Collar 15 to get 15% off the Beard Struggle. And as always, we will catch you on the flippity flip.
And his name is John Cena. Blah, 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 blah.